You know what that is? Sonny, come on up.
An known creature gives a New Yorker a heart attack.
What the fuck is that thing? It's a fucking bat! It's got the fucking virus!
I both can and cannot fully explain what that is. It's called a colugo, but it's also known as a flying lemur, even though there's somehow two lies in that one name. They don't fly, they glide, and since they spend most of their lives in their trees, they basically just airdrop themselves from branch to branch. And it's not a lemur. Lemurs are primates, making them related to gorillas, chimps, and us. But this thing isn't a primate. Whoever named it would probably name an atheist faith. They use that stretchy membrane called a patagium to glide like flying squirrels, and they can travel 650 feet without stopping. That's 200 meters or a little bit less than 2 football fields. But it's not a flying squirrel. There was a time people thought they were just God's rough draft of a bat, but colugos aren't related to bats either. And if you look at the order they're in, Dermoptera, they're the only living members. It's like pulling up to a family reunion and finding out you're the only one left. And because their entire personality involves flying, they're too slow and awkward to survive on the ground, and for an animal that lives in the trees, they're pretty mid-climbers. They're so bad at life that being nocturnal is probably the only thing keeping them alive. Mother colugos will carry their babies everywhere for the first 6 months, which made some people believe it was a marsupial, like some type of deformed air koala. But it's none of those things. So what the f*** is it? Well, scientists performed genetic analyses on them, basically a 23andMe for a flying carpet, and it turns out their closest evolutionary relative are primates. It's pretty much the closest you can get to primates without actually being one. Which means this dehydrated Dollar Tree chipmunk is more related to you than it is to an actual squirrel or bat. The more you know.
Parrot helped finger a killer. You heard right. The bird's owner, 45-year-old Marty Durham, was found shot to death at his home outside Grand Rapids, Michigan. His wife was also found badly injured with a gunshot wound to the head. Cops at first thought they were both crime victims. Then the parrot, named Bud, turned into a stool pigeon, suddenly squawking what sounded like a reenactment of the murder.
No!
Had a foul-mouthed argument broken out between husband and wife?
No! Shut up!
And it ends with these chilling words.
Get your building now! Shut up!
I felt it. I literally felt what the bird was going through.
Bud is an African gray parrot like this one. They are a very intelligent species and are especially good at mimicking human speech. Animal experts say African greys are very sensitive to traumatic events. Prosecutor Ellsworth Stay says he believes the parrot witnessed everything.
The parrot was in the home when the murder was committed.
These two sisters saw something that still haunts them to this day. On January 20th, 1996 at 3 p.m. in Varginha, Brazil, two young sisters decided to take a shortcut home through a vacant parking lot where they allegedly encountered something terrifying. They came across this ugly-looking creature described as having large red eyes, oily brown skin, V-shaped feet, and 3 rounded bulges on its head. Many people compared this being to the mythical Latin American creature known as the chupacabra. Now, if you thought that wasn't easy on the eyes, wait until you find out that the creature had a strong, putrid smell of ammonia. He supposedly smelled like ass. Anyway, when the two young sisters laid eyes on the creature, it's safe to say that it wasn't love at first sight. The creature spooked the bejesus out of them, and so they ran to their mother to explain to her what they had just witnessed. Now, prior to their sighting, two farmers, a woman and her husband, woke up to their cows going nuts outside, and to their surprise was a strange object in the sky the size of a bus, which was emitting smoke. Later that evening at around 6 p.m., out about this, especially in 96, and they'll all go crazy. I understand why they would cover it up at the time. But folks, the time has come to urge governments to release this info to the public. The majority of people are ready for disclosure. Before I go, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for helping me get to 100,000 followers. You guys have really motivated me to continue making content. And as promised, I'll be launching a podcast on YouTube very soon titled Fight or Flight. I'll be attempting to go face to face with eyewitnesses and former government officials in a push for what we call disclosure. That, along with conveying the most interesting UFO and extraterrestrial encounter cases and sharing personal accounts regarding this phenomenon. Hope you stick around, and as always, keep it adrenaline.